Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Peter Overton. There's a searing spotlight on the Reserve Bank today. In just a moment, the RBA will hand down its monthly decision on interest rates, with economists predicting the first rise in over 10 years. This, of course, in a high inflation environment. I'm joined by Nine's finance editor, Chris Kohler, and Nine's political editor, Chris Uhlmann. First to Chris Kohler in Melbourne, not long to go. What's your feeling about the decision?
Good afternoon, Pete. I think it'd be pretty controversial if the Reserve Bank holds off and does not move interest rates today, because most economists say it does need to intervene and cool down the economy. As you said, inflation is running absolutely rampant now at 5%, and people who are after, a bit of fruit and veggies and meat are up 12%, paying 12% more than they were this time last year.
It's gone up, Chris. It's gone up. The interest rate has gone up.
Plus 0.25% today, so that is an enormous move, higher than we were expecting. So, repeating, today the Reserve Bank has hiked interest rates for the first time in 11 and a half years, up 0.25%. The new cash rate now 0.35%. Now, this is an aggressive move, Pete, and it's one that's designed to cool off the economy, as I said, and get the cost of living under control.
OK, if you've got a mortgage, and this for a lot of people is the first time they would have seen an interest rate since they've held a mortgage, let's put up a graphic and check out what it means for your loan repayments, Chris.
Yeah, that's right. Millions of people will have never experienced a rising interest rate environment. Here we go, $500,000. If you've got that as your mortgage, you're going to be paying an extra $65 per month. And that's pretty much straight away if the banks do decide to hike interest rates as they're expected to do. This was likely to be passed on by all of the big banks. And if you've got $500,000 in debt, you're going to be paying $65 extra per month. And now I should say that other major economists expect this to be the first of many interest rate hikes. By Christmas, we could be paying a 1.5% cash rate, and that would mean an extra $400 per month if you've got that $500,000 in debt, as we know that a lot of people do. And Pete, a lot of people have even more than that, of course. OK, Chris, we'll leave you there for a moment. Let's go to political editor Chris Uhlmann in Canberra. Chris, the Prime Minister has been trying to distance himself from today's decision by the Reserve Bank. What will the increase mean for the election?
Well, it's bad news for the coalition in an election, and don't forget the last time and the only other time that this has happened in an election campaign was to John Howard in the 2007 election. Went up a couple of weeks before the election day, and John Howard always promised that interest rates would be lower under the government that he led. But don't forget, at that stage we're going from 6.5% to 6.75%. So a much different interest rate story then than now. We are coming back off emergency levels, and don't forget also that what we're seeing at the moment is a recipe essentially for inflation. When you've got cash rate at near zero and you've got almost full unemployment, that is going to feed into the prices that you are seeing. And today, of course, we saw the Prime Minister wandering around among the lettuces and the pumpkins. I think it's fascinating, Peter, that the Prime Minister is so worried about this. He spends around about $600 billion a year, and he's now concerned about the price of a pumpkin, and he'll even be more concerned about what the price of a mortgage will be for people, because does he get punished for this? Do people hold him responsible for things which are really beyond his control? And certainly the Labor Party is holding him responsible, Pete.
OK, Chris Uhlmann in Canberra, we'll leave you there. Chris Kohler in Melbourne, any news yet from moves on the banks?
No news yet, Pete. We would expect that over the next couple of hours, all of the big four banks will pass on this 0.25% hike in full to their variable customers. I can say at least that Homestar Finance, which is the lowest variable rate out there at 1.79%, has indicated to me that they are prepared to keep it there for at least the foreseeable future. So this is a very competitive market, and we will have to wait and see what the banks decide to do. OK, by 6 o'clock tonight, we should have some indication of what banks are doing, what at least the big four are doing. One usually makes the move first, don't they, Chris, and then the others tend to follow. That's right, they move as a herd, Pete.
Good on you. Chris Kohler in Melbourne, Chris Uhlmann in Canberra, thank you both for joining us on this day where interest rates have gone up by 0.25%, the official cash rate now at 0.35%. The afternoon news is our next bulletin, and of course across Australia tonight, your state-based 6 o'clock news, our major bulletins. I'm Peter Overton. On behalf of the Chris's, good afternoon.